Hey guys, thanks for joining me for lunch today. I have Jamel Herring here with me. How you doing, champ?
I'm good, Christine. Good. It's always good to talk to you.
Always good to talk to you too. I'm so glad you chose to spend your lunchtime with me, your
Of
lunch
course.
break.
Of course. I was ready.
Right, you ready? You ready?
Mhm.
We were just talking before we got on air, and the heading of this topic today is like boxers that are like crashing out, or boxers being human. I think a lot of times that you guys and girls are put on this pedestal as to being subhuman and not having feelings, and a lot of times y'all get hit with some stuff that I know hurts your feelings or makes you feel some type of way. um what are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you feel about stuff like that?
I mean, for me personally, I always like to be treated the way I treat others. But then you always have that stigma, like you was basically pointing out, where they think because you're on a platform, you have to have thick skin, which is true to a degree. But at the same time, like you pointed out, we're all human, and it's cool for everyone to have an opinion.
Yeah.
I don't. Everyone has an opinion. I have an opinion. It doesn't mean that my opinion is always correct or whatever. But at the same time, it gets out of line when it gets personal. When it gets personal, that's when it gets crazy. What's up, Norbs?
Yeah,
What's
hey
good, my
Norbs.
guy?
Everything good?
So we're just talking about, a lot of fans feel like these boxers, these superstars are like not human. Like they can say whatever they want. They can talk crap and think that they're just supposed to take it. And so I just wanted to get Jamel's side of it. I mean, he's been and is at the top of the mountain, and sometimes he gets things thrown at him, and his thoughts, and what are your thoughts about stuff like that?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I was really popular in the hip hop world, and I kind of faced a lot of adversity
Mhm.
coming up. And the one thing I always took into account was you chose the life. You chose to live your life in front of a lot of people. Of course, I'm not giving these people a pass for what they say, but at the same time, you're the entertainment. They that's the only way they feel like they can touch you. So when you choose, uh, when you choose that life that you want to make a living doing something that people spend money on or are able to speak on you, you gotta deal with it. And it's not to say that it's fair. I mean, I'm watching what's happening with Shannon Sharp and other celebrities. It isn't fair, but at the same time, you know, this is what you chose. Like I've seen Shakur Stevenson,
Mm-hmm.
bro, you can't call yourself the best and not get critiqued. Michael Jordan was critiqued. There were people that hated Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? People hated Tom Brady, and they just continued to overcome adversity and whatnot. But it's not easy. I mean, Jamel's went through his stuff, and it's not easy when people judge you without even knowing. I think that's the worst part about it
For
because they
sure, and
assume.
people do
Yeah.
do that.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And so I see what you're saying as far as like you put yourself out there,
Mhm.
and you're going to get criticized because you are on the spotlight. But how do you deal with that? I mean, both of you. I mean, I've gone through a little stupid stuff. Nothing compared to, I'm sure, what y'all have gone through. How do you deal with that? How do you mentally and emotionally deal with that?
Um,
I feel like for me, for the most part, I just basically like even like there's no shit, like even I've been recently been criticized for this, that, and the third. But like for me, I just basically rely heavily on the ones close to me that actually know me.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like Norm said, everybody's gonna have an opinion at the end of the day, and people like stuff we see on social media. People say words behind closed doors. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
people always say work behind closed doors. So for me, I just kind of just like take it with a grain of salt. Things blow over time anyway.
Yeah.
Like Norm said, in this business, entertainment business, you got to have thick skin. But again, like for me, I don't really mind. I just don't agree when it gets too personal. You know what I mean? When it
Yeah,
gets
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, to add to what you're saying,
criticized, let's even talk boxing. Like it seems like I'll never get credit for the Lamont Roach fight to a certain degree. Like one minute is before the whole Tank fight. Oh, he lost to he lost to Jamel Herring. Then when Lamont looked great in the fight, then it's well that was this many years ago. So you got it is one, if it's not one thing, it's another. So I don't really pay no mind like I just said, like real ones know. That's what, and like I
Yeah.
said,
I
I
mean,
always reach out to you two on the side, like
yeah.
Christine. You know, I'll come out to you plenty of times when I was going through stuff, and I just talk to you a bit. And same with Nora, was like he'll call me up and we'll just talk about certain things, and
Yeah.
that's good enough for me. Like
Yeah.
I get, like at the end of the day, no
You know,
one, everyone's not gonna like you. Like Norm says, even the greatest, you know, even I laugh when I made the post about Clarissa and everybody criticizing her about being the GOAT, but they forget that even at one point, people hated Muhammad Ali. I mean,
yeah.
they really hated him,
Yeah.
for his religion, for you know what I'm saying, for his race, for him claiming to be the greatest of all time. So, but we see how we look at Muhammad Ali now. You would never think that 40, 50 years ago that he was, you know, he was targeted like this.
And you know, there's people also envy what they couldn't become. So, you know, Jamel was able to have a great career, was a professional, big fights. I've been able to accomplish a lot of things that a lot of people weren't able to do. So a lot of that is through people having their own immaturities about themselves, or so you got to kind of deal with it, and it's not easy, bro. Like, you know, I've dealt with a lot of stuff, of lawsuits, all types of stuff, and people judge you without knowing the facts, and that's what bothers
Yeah.
me because you're kind of like, yeah, well, it might look ugly on this side or whatnot, or you may think I'm this, but you don't actually know what's going on, or you don't know what I had to do to get to this point. Like people see Jamel and they say, "Oh, he's a boxer. He must have just got signed and got there." No, Jamel had to go through a lot of shit to understand the game to be successful and get to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, fans are fans. They're fanatics. That's what they do. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and even with the media, like the media is the worst because their whole thing is to get people to click on something. And if they can use
Facts.
you
Yeah. There's
for
clickbait
that,
all the time.
yeah. And that's why, you know, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
as athletes, entertainers, you kind of got to use that in your favor too. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of use it. Ice Cube said there's no such thing as bad publicity. You just got to
Mm-hmm.
switch, you got to switch the energy. And you know, again, I don't feel bad for anybody simply because at the end of the day, this is what you chose, and you got to deal with it. It is what it is, man, and only the strong survive. That's just how it goes.
That's true, and I see what you're saying about on the point that Jamel was talking about. You know, when it gets personal, I mean, we're seeing like people's moms and wives and
Yeah,
kids being targeted. You know, of
yeah,
course, we can't censor that. We can't say, "Oh, you don't do that," or "You shouldn't do that," because people are going to do what they do.
Right.
But for me personally, I think because I'm a mom and a grandma, I'm like I see it in a different way. Yes, people are going to get targeted. People are going to say what they want to say.
yeah,
But when it's like some of these fathers in boxing
yeah.
that are the ones that are how can I say this nicely? That are making their sons look bad. And then the sons
Just
get
put it
all the heat.
out there.
I mean, yeah, you got to say what it is. Now you got me intrigued.
Just put it out there. The Schofields of the world. I don't agree with.
Schofields. Yes.
Schofield. See, that's
Yes.
a different
The
situation.
Schofields. You know, it's
What's
like
the different
Kid
situation?
Austin
No, no,
is
no, no.
so nice. Kid
He is.
Austin is such a nice guy.
Yes.
But his dad makes people dislike him.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
Listen. I agree with you.
I
And I
mean,
think
same with Devin Haney. I mean, you
Mhm.
like him or not, but when Bill starts talking, it's like, ugh, we really don't like Devin. And what do y'all think about those things?
I mean, Danny got the same treatment too. Danny Garcia got the same treatment as well from
Danny, Shane Mosley. I look at it like this. I feel like his it comes up to the boxer. The boxer has to make the decision at that point because he's the one that's getting critiqued. And I feel like with the Schofield situation, it seems as if his father has way more input in his career than he should. And the fact that you're speaking for him all the time, the fact that you're doing all these things, you're going out there saying, "Well, we want 2.5 to fight Abdullah Mason," and then now don't even get Abdullah Mason, get somebody else. You look like a jackass. And with Devin, I think it was a little different because he was pretty much his promoter. Like that was they're kind of like an independent brand, and that's what Bill does. I liked what Bill did, but it also built up a lot of pressure because Devin was getting the big fights. In the Schofield situation, he's not even getting the big fights. He's not even taking them. So to me, he looks insane in that aspect. With Bill, it's tough because I feel like he's trying to take the shots for his son because his son, I don't think his son is built for those type of shots. And I think that's why he was doing a lot of that stuff. And, he helped Devin get to where he's getting in terms of popularity. So it's a little different. I think Bill's situation is a little different than the Schofield dude because at least he's gotten those big fights and has put himself in a position financially where he can say, yo, my dad got me there. I don't think Schofield has gotten to that.
I think they both feel very, their dads have been there. Their dads have been there their whole career, have helped them to get to where they are. So, a lot of people say, get away from your dad. They said that about Teofimo as well, get away from your dad.
Yeah.
But your dad's your dad, right? Been there through the whole career. But at what point are you a man and you say, take a back seat? Yes, Jamel.
No, you mentioned Teofimo. I give him credit for that because if you look lately,
it's him.
In the forefront. Like he's been promoting himself. He's been out there. Even he's even caused their own criticism on his own right. He has said rather than his father saying this, that, and the third. Teo's been out there putting himself out there. Yeah. His father may be out there every once in a while, maybe at a press conference, which is okay because also, but in terms of like Floyd Schofield Jr. and Sr., the man is using his son's account. He's using
yeah.
I don't even know Schofield's voice. I only hear his father's very feminine voice. It's crazy.
And then when you see Junior, like you mentioned, he's soft spoken. He'll put out there like
he's so nice.
I have a fight coming up. I got the announcement, but no, at that point in time, nobody wants to hear it. Nobody cares for it because like Norm just said. Your father just got on here a week ago saying that he's demanding no less than 2.5 million, and I'm looking. So I wrote like, hold on, did you even get to the 7-figure mark? At all before you?
But that's why I give Bill credit because he's gotten to the bag. He's gotten to those big meetings. They've been very successful independently as a duo, but. And then to your point with Teofimo, you could tell he had a conversation with his dad. Look,
yeah.
You have to have that conversation, even though as your father, dad, you're making me look crazy. Like, just be my dad. Let me handle this. Let me go. And that's what Schofield has to do. His father's insane. Like, his father continues to make rather odd decisions. It's not father-son, but same with what he said, Charles Conwell.
So, so I don't know if you know this, Norbs. Jamel, you probably do. There was some scandal with the coaches.
I don't. That's the first I'm hearing this about.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Shit.
I'm gonna let y'all do y'all's research. I
hate when Christine does that.
Hey, Ramirez, can you type some more Ramirez?
They're like, Ramirez, what Ramirez? Because Christine ain't talking. Hubby Bill invested in Son's career. Yes, he did. But I think sometimes we gotta like take a little step back and let the men be the men. You know what I'm saying? And not talk for them at times because I think sometimes it makes it worse for their sons once they get in the ring. Like now, everybody's gonna want to beat their asses. Like Kid Austin, they're gonna want to like.
I get it. Like even I feel for my man. Devin's a cool dude. I've had a conversation with Bill. They allowed me when I was training for my own fights in Vegas. They allowed me to come in with the gym during their sessions and just hang out and do my own workouts or whatever. But like, I don't like to like beat a dead horse. But like, let's be honest with the Ryan Garcia situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see, like Conor Ben, rightfully so, still gets criticized for his whole scandal with PEDs and such and such.
Yeah.
Devin, they celebrated the 1-year anniversary of his fight with Ryan Garcia, even though after the whole situation behind the fight, because people just don't like Devin for whatever reason, for his father or whatever, and it's like that's like I've never seen it in boxing at least where you got a fighter who was publicly, punished and suspended for whatever. Don't matter
Mhm.
if it's a little bit in your system or whatever it is, but they celebrate Devin, taking the beating because they don't like him or his father or whatever. Then it's crazy. But if it's somebody else in boxing history, they're considered a cheat for forever.
Forever. Yeah. And speaking of this, so this is something else that really bothers me, and I want to know y'all's opinion. So a lot of people too made that a racial issue. They made it a racial issue. Why did this Mexican but not this African American? Like, do y'all feel like sometimes people throw that around too much, or is it justified? Now, in some cases, it's justified, absolutely. But in situations like that, is it justified? Does it have to do with race, or is it just because they don't like Devin?
I think
I'll be honest.
it's a bit of everything. We were just on here last week, not even probably a full week ago with Tiara situation.
Like I said,
Some said they don't like Tiara because she speaks too much and she was too brash and she was always attacking Sky. And then the other side of it, she was getting racial slurs thrown at her. So it's on
but hold on. I got to step in on this one. On this Devin situation, it's more his own people attacking him for going to the courts and fighting for what's actually his right. So it's not, in that aspect, it's not racial, another race going at him. It's his own people who don't believe. They call him a snitch. They call him a snitch because
that's the problem with at times with the Black community too.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a racial thing. It's a cultural thing sometimes.
Yeah.
I
agree. I agree. I was thinking it was thrown around too much.
All
That
plays into it in boxing. All that stuff plays into boxing.
Yeah, like
people came at me because, like I said, like I can tell y'all right now, I have T.O.'s number. I personally speak to T.O. all the time, but people came at me about why I didn't check T.O. when I'm like, listen, man, I spoke to the man, like, cause like I said again, me and T.O. have real heart to heart conversation, like true, like I said, true story. The day before he fought Josh Taylor, right after the weigh-in, I was doing the commentary with Top Rank. He was doing the fighter meeting. I had to pull Tia to the side, like, hey man, hey, bro, you a father now, like you got things to look forward to, like you as a role model, and like T.O. never forgot that. So when I had fought in New York, I didn't know he came front and center to show me support, and then we hung out afterwards and we had to talk. Even recently, like I pulled him aside, like bro, like when I was doing the whole thing on my own platform, I was like, bro, I really can't bring you on here right now because you hot right now.
Yeah.
It's not a good look. And we'll talk, and he'll be like, you know what, Mel, you right, And then even when I had gotten in my situation, Mel, keep your head up. It was actually him and Steven Nelson were the first two like fighters.
That's great.
World that really came to see how I was doing. So like I said, like it's we have we sometimes you got to pull your peers to the side and you got to check them, but you don't have to, because you don't do it publicly doesn't mean that having these conversations.
Exactly. And why should we chastise people when everybody else is already chastising them? Everybody else is already throwing slugs. You can have a private conversation. You don't have to like put someone on blast, publicly humiliate them. They're getting enough of that.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a tough situation. Like even with the T.O. situation, like I never really felt T.O. was racist. I just felt like he was a kid.
Yeah,
and
me neither.
He just said some shit that he thought was funny, and I was just like, bro, it's like it's not the time, bro. Like people don't want to play like that, and sometimes you say stuff you don't think you're going to be held accountable for, and I think T.O. was having issues with his camps, and he came out and said, well, they don't push Spanish fighters over at Top Rank. That's what he said originally, right?
Yeah.
And he felt they were pushing the black fighters over him. These are things that you probably could have worded differently. You could have went at it differently, and he didn't. And I think that's a learning curve. He's a young kid. What is he? 25, 26, something like that?
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he is about what, like 25, I think.
He said he's being racist.
And then some people, and she's totally entitled to that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the way she feels, she's totally entitled. I
Yeah.
personally, I mean,
That
I don't know him like you do, Jamel. I've sat with him. I've talked with him a few times. He's a really nice guy, honestly. Like, so is Berlanga. I really like them, you know. But a lot of times when the camera gets in your face and you get excited and you really want to sell or push something,
Yeah.
maybe you say the wrong things. You know what I'm saying?
ways to go about it, like Norris is pointing out though, because again, even I've seen people on, with the same skin and complexion as me with the whole. Remember recently with the Clarissa
Yeah.
Shield, the ring IQ,
Yeah.
the thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I,
That.
I
I
basically,
mean,
I know
that's a different
how we
situation, you
look,
know.
how we can look with Clarissa being outspoken, but then you got people going to, the history of the, the context, how they looked at it. So, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people take things like no matter how you may have portrayed,
Right.
I take it a different way at the end of the day.
Right.
But even with the Clarissa situation, right? And we talk about the Teal, we're holding Teal accountable, right? For what he said. People attack him for what he said. And with Clarissa, people are protecting her for the things that was said, right, about her. But she also came out and was shooting at light-skinned women. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
You got to be held accountable as well. You can't give and not take what you're getting. And I feel like it should never go to that. It should never go to race on any part of it. So to me, it's a little bit, I feel like, and I think, I don't know who did the blog, but he called her out on that. And I was like, yo, that's a good point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, for me, like, I mean, I'm old school. You know, I'm 54. I was born in the 70s, 1970. Okay. So it's like things like this for me personally, they don't, I don't get offended. I've been
I
called
don't
every
know.
name in the book. I've been called many things. And, you know, some of my kids are biracial. I have so many different colors in my family, my husband's family, you know, so for me personally, I don't get offended personally, but I respect the way other people feel, and that's why I'm saying, like, I can be empathetic to the way someone feels. There's certain things I will not say, not because I don't think that they're good or bad. It's because I'm thinking about how other people may perceive it, and I don't want to hurt people's feelings, you know. Um, but that's me. Not everybody's like that, you
Yeah, I
know, and
mean,
I can respect that.
this era is a lot more sensitive as well. Like, it's ridiculously
Yes.
sensitive. I mean, I come from an era of Richard Pryor writing Blazing Saddles. If you ever seen the movie Blazing Saddles, it's arguably
Yeah.
one of the most racist movies ever. And Richard Pryor wrote it, who's my favorite comedian of all
Yeah.
time. I feel like it's a lot more sensitive now. I get it. And it's kind of weird because things were a lot worse back then, and people, made jokes about
Oh,
it
absolutely.
now.
And that's what they had to make comedy. They had to get
But
through it, you know.
well, I'm looking at Paula. I'm looking at Red Corner, but this is what we're talking about now. Like people, we may feel something differently, but people still have their opinion and they take it.
Right.
Even
Right.
even for me, even with everything I've gone through, I still like just me talking.
Yes.
I still watch what I say out there. When
Yeah,
I
you gotta-
Same. Yeah, same.
how I word it, 'cause,
Yes.
like again, people can read text a different way than your tone really is in terms of how. So, but
Yeah.
again, I'm older. I'm more mature. So again, even with everything going on with me, I still watch what I put out there and say because, again, I'm all for conversation, but I'm not here to try to offend anybody or
Mhm.
wrong way. And
Same.
if I do, I will, reach back and then I'll explain what I meant, and then if we
Mhm.
have a conversation, and we can continue from there. And I always been that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I'll just say-
I think there is a difference between like sexism, racism, and hatred. Like there's people that really hate, like they really hate certain
absolutely.
races, religion, sexes, whatever. And then there's people that are just having a conversation. And I think that I don't like to distort those things. There's because to me racism is hate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sexism is hate.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like to see the next person coming up and making something of themselves and
No,
winning,
absolutely.
which is hate, you know.
Like I said, though, for the most part, that's from people being upset because they couldn't achieve, especially with boxing. That's how I look at it. Because
Facts.
they, like, I always make a joke like, "Are you knocking what I've done? It wasn't easy. Can you do it? If
Right.
maybe because you couldn't get to that level, don't take that on me, whatever. I mean, if you have an opinion, that's cool. But to sit there and try to knock somebody down
Yeah.
to nothing because you couldn't achieve anything on
Right.
right, but it doesn't have to be boxing. Just in life in general, if you couldn't
Yeah.
achieve whatever you were trying to do in life, don't take it out on people who are being stuck because you don't know what it took for them to get there.
You know, I saw a really great tweet today. Actually, one of my guys that trains with me, Texas runs boxing, and he said, "How do we feel? How do you think that people like fans or people on the outside should just have a day in the gym and kind of see, what boxers go through?" And I started thinking, I was like, you know what? Yeah, because like for instance, our good friend Ray Jackson, okay, he has a very strong opinion, and he's has every right to have a strong opinion about people's performances. I've had a few opportunities to train with him, and I told him as he was huffing and puffing, Ray, I want you to have a new respect for these boxers. It's very easy to sit out and just watch and criticize, but to actually put the work in and see what a semblance of what they go through, it's a game changer. And he said, yeah, it really is. Putting other people's shoes on. I think we all need to be able to do that sometimes.
No, I get that. I get that. Like I said, it's easier to sit from the couch and say whatever. And again, like I respect the fans for who they are and what they do because
Mm-hmm.
they do play a role. They do play a role in boxing. Like without them, we wouldn't be where we're at because if we're
Absolutely.
not entertaining,
Sure.
they're not buying our tickets, they're not buying our merchandise, or whatever.
Yes.
They're not actually putting the word of mouth out there for us. We wouldn't be there. But again, when you come around just criticizing people that you don't even, you don't know what it was to be in that gym.
Right.
Like again, a day, just go spend a week with Bud and Bomac and them because they
Yeah.
now with them we will work every day of the week, Sundays included
Yeah.
for 8 weeks. And it's like, those first 2 weeks, when your body, especially when your body, and as a trainer,
Yeah.
not accustomed to it because you may have, even for professional fighters, when you probably been out for a couple of months with just relaxing and you gotta get back into the grind. Those, especially, and you, like I said, you training fighters in Colorado Springs, trying to get active with, with the elevation
Yeah.
again.
That first week. Woo.
Yeah, those first 10 days, they hurt the most. So again, like, forget the day. Just at least spend a good week. Spend a good week in training camp, and then let's
That's
see.
true. A good week. Absolutely.
And
And
then
even
we'll see how you
even
really feel.
even people that I do personal training with, I'm like, just imagine. I mean, you're punching for 3 minutes, you're exhausted. Well, this is just one round, and you don't have anyone punching back at you. It's a whole different game.
And on top of that, probably just one training session. Again, with Bone, though, it was like this every other day. It's probably make 3 different training sessions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you jump conditioning today, but you got to go do a 3 mile whatever run the next day, and you got to keep getting up. It's like for like boxing. That's why we always say boxing is more mental and physical because
Yes.
you got to mentally prepare yourself for that. Like a lot of us, we can do it. We can do the physical work. A lot of us
Your
really
body can do it. It's your
can't.
mind that's saying, damn, I'm tired. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Exactly. It's the mind. It's the mind that really takes over and says, hey, do I really want to do this? Or like, there's even times when I used to be in the gym, like, man, do I really still want to do this? But after I get past that first week,
Yeah.
it's been times like Bo, and I'm gonna tell you, they had to pull me back from, Mel, you gotta take a break because
I believe it.
I
I
have
believe it.
to prepare my
You,
mind for it.
you don't want to peak too early.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, so the last thing that I wanted to touch on was, I think that there's a way to like pick corners and to agree to disagree. A lot of times we see, people saying, let's just take, for instance, just
Love you too. Oh,
out of argument.
I love you too, Paul. I see you out there.
Yes, yes, Paula,
Paula,
she's awesome.
hit me in my little music on Mount Rushmore last week. I didn't forget about that, Paula, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, okay. You got to answer this question, and then I'm gonna go back to mine. Any chance of seeing Jamel back in the ring soon? If so, what weight would you fight with, and any
Right
of the ops in mind?
All right, I'm glad. I knew that was gonna come eventually. Because you and I speak all the time. So,
Yes.
boxing wise, I'm always open for boxing. Like I said, I even had a conversation with, like I told you personally. I told
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, of course, but I text Bomac. I think Friday. I text Bomac Friday. I said, Bo, give me a call. I said, give me a call. He calls me up Saturday. Me and him have a great conversation. But it wasn't so much about boxing. It was more because the BKFC had reached out to me and they offered a very lucrative deal. You know what I'm saying, I'm actually looking at, but I was just telling Bo about it. And for me, for the most part, I just miss training. You know,
Hmm.
I miss them. Let's go.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Shout out to Red, Esau,
Yes,
Bud.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? We actually had a good conversation in the group, in that little group message, just being friendly and funny and cracking jokes about
Hmm.
our camps in the past. But yeah, you know, Bo Mac said if I wanted to come back, it was always a door open for me there. So I'm
I
definitely
love it.
looking at that because, like I said, for me, for the most part, I just missed the game. I missed the game. The game is
Yeah.
like that game transformed me into a world champion, and I'll never forget that.
Hmm.
I'll never have anything bad to say about it, even when we bump heads, because like we're
Hmm.
fans. But yeah, for the most part, I was probably gonna see what they offer maybe in a day or so for the final offer. But again, I want to definitely get back in the ring with the B&B camp. I gotta definitely get Bomac a call. But in terms of boxing, like I said again, I even Josh Warrington just fought. I even been pushing for that because I always wanted to go back to the UK because we all know I was a 2012 Olympian and that's the last
Yes.
sport in the United Kingdom. So definitely be open to boxing, but we got to be honest. Like boxing is a different landscape. It's like one of the things where you got to get in where you fit in at because if you're not with this, like with this faction or whatever now, and you see other promoters, they're kind of coming together, and it's right now they're focusing on the guys that are basically the names that are now, and I respect that. So for me, I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter at the end of the day, so I'm always gonna want to compete somewhere in combat sports, but that's where my head is at right now.
Red
And
Corner Boxing said you'd make one hell of a coach, Jamel.
I mean,
I was gonna say that too. What do you think about that? I mean,
honestly, I've been looking at that too because who was it that I just talked to my man P over there with Tiger and them camp. I
yeah,
get,
yeah, yeah, yeah. He came on for lunch with me one
yeah,
day. Yeah.
P, my guy, man. I give him his flowers. He'll call me up. He'll actually call me inside and ask for my opinion. Because as fighters, we firsthand acknowledging this, and then, but again, like I definitely would I always said no to it because I didn't have the patience as a Marine, but
Yeah.
I always thought that that I might do it. Yeah, matter of fact, Ramirez, I did point out that I wanted to come to Texas for that show. Matter of fact,
Come
again,
on, come on, come on.
they offered me the June 14th card in the Mohegan Sun, but I did see the June 24th. I think it's like 20 something whatever in Fort Worth, Texas. So I definitely did. Like I said, I'm a Marine, so I told them I had people everywhere. I don't have to be on the East
Yeah.
Coast, go anywhere. But I did put it out to them. So like I said, I've been checking them out. Actually, just before I got on here with Christine, I was watching the press conference. As a fighter, I watched more of their events to just get an idea on
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, I did. Yeah.
So so me as a fighter, I study everything, but yeah, definitely, anything's a possibility. But right now, I'm just trying to get back with my B&B family and go from there.
Yeah, it's super exciting times, because you still are able to do what you need to do. You're still young enough, healthy enough, and
All right.
I think you have a lot of options. You definitely do.
I've got listen. Oh yeah, and 135 will be the weight class. Lightweight, whatever will be the. What somebody asked about the weight class. Yeah, I don't put on. And another thing, shout out to Paulina. We had a great competition as well. And
Yes, my
we
girls.
offered
Yes,
her.
Paulina and Denise. Yes.
She feels I'll be a lot stronger at 130. I can still make 130, but I should feel like I'd be a lot stronger at 135.
Yeah.
I fought in the Olympics at 140, so it's not a nothing
Mm-mm.
that I can't do.
That's crazy. That's great. Oh my gosh, what you've maintained. That's amazing. That's so good. Like, that's really great. Before we go, um, so have always been really really good about like you said, choosing your words, being very respectable. I mean, even if you don't agree with
Right.
someone, you agree to disagree respectfully, and I feel like I'm that way too. Like, some people, maybe they don't think it, whatever, but like when we pick a corner, like if you and I, let's say we don't agree on who's going to win, who's not, but we can, at the end of the day, we're still cool. We're not blocking each other, we're not cussing each other out, we're not calling each other names. I think sometimes the fans and even the boxers go a little bit too far. If somebody doesn't pick them to win, they're a hater, or they're this or they're that. What are
You,
your thoughts on that?
you seen it? Like, okay, what? Maybe 3 weeks ago now. Well, Bud, I love Bud. You love Bud.
Yeah.
My brother. I can call Bud hey, Bud, you wilding, whatever. But like, I didn't agree when Bud said what he said about Earl, but that's his opinion.
Yeah.
That's his opinion.
Right.
I respect it. I respect that's your opinion. But like you said, I didn't agree with the fans. Oh, Bud don't know boxing. I'm like, that's his opinion, y'all.
That's
Like,
his opinion. Right.
I got a theory on that.
I love Errol. He was my 2012 Olympic teammate. Errol was probably one of the ones when I first turned pro that supported me, when others didn't. Bud helped me, become a champion and better myself and give me some more, self-worth in the boxing ring. But again, yeah, we could, like I said, we can always agree to disagree. It's not a big issue. Like, yeah, I don't think
Right.
family members fight, family members disagree. You never been to a Thanksgiving table where, everybody has
Yeah.
own beliefs and such. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't think it has to get ugly because he may. And then on top of that, I don't think you always have to be a yes man because again, that can be your favorite fighter, but you can be like,
Right. But I
love
because I
him.
disagree too. I disagree
I
too,
don't
and
agree
I love him
with that
like
one.
you.
Do that. Like again, you see people though. We see it all the time on Twitter. You get on there, your favorite fighter can say something crazy,
Yeah.
but sit there and argue with somebody to
Right.
defend it when you
To
know deep
justify
inside it was a crazy take.
Right.
It sounds like you're talking about the Tankamaniacs, but I think
All of them.
when it comes to Bud though, I think Bud is saying stuff purposely to draw attraction towards him. He's doing the most interviews he's ever done in his career.
Yeah.
He's on every show, every platform.
He's about to fight and beat your favorite fighter. Of course he is.
Listen. Y'all don't think I had in my mind. Mr. Norris, I don't think the whole BKFC talk, but missed the whole thing. But
I'm sorry.
I go that route. You don't think I'm having Bud come with me and walk me out because I don't see it's Bud is good for promotion,
Yeah, Bud is.
Hell yeah.
He's taking a page from the great Canelo Alvarez, and he's like on every platform. He just did Club Shay Shay. He's doing, and he's saying stuff that is some people may look at as ridiculous with the Errol Spence situation, but what it's doing is drawing traffic to his brand. And I think for somebody that's lacked that throughout his career, and is finally starting to get that, I think he's taking advantage of it. He's like, you know what? I'm going to keep getting these checks. I'm going to draw people to come see me.
Yeah.
And no, that's his biggest knock. He doesn't sell. He doesn't. Whatever.
A lot of y'all will kept knocking Bud. Oh, he doesn't do enough interviews. Or he doesn't on platforms. Can't have it both ways. Now that he's doing it,
he does have the worst laugh I've ever heard.
I will say this though. This is really who he is. Like, it's not
yes, this is his personality. Absolutely.
This is how Bud really is. Like, Bud is opinionated, but like not in a negative. He just speaks his mind.
And funny.
He is. When he was talking about Trey Songz and getting an altercation with Jeezy, like these are things that nobody ever knew about him and how
because
funny
nobody
he is.
took the time. Think about it. People were not running to interview him either, or in the beginning. When he just came out of nowhere, people thought they're like, oh my God, who is this kid from Omaha? Like, what? People were still not intrigued.
I think Bud was also, I don't want to say socially awkward, but I don't think he attacked social media. Like he didn't embrace it like everybody did.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, I think now he's like, all right, I'm gonna respond to Ray Jackson on Twitter. I'm gonna do all these other things. I'm gonna do these interviews. Like he understands the brand. He understands what he's doing. And like people were talking about Canelo about that. Oh, he doesn't do anything in English. His last fight, he did the Breakfast Club. He did every hip hop station in the country. He did Big Boy in America. You got to understand when you're trying to be something bigger than boxing, you have to do it. And I think he's taking a page out of Canelo's book, to be honest with you, and expanding his business. People don't even know that Bud is a smart businessman.
Oh yeah,
he's not an idiot.
Oh, very.
He owns
money. Thank you.
He owns half of Omaha, man. Bud,
yeah,
his business and his money.
He's extremely intelligent, man. And that's why he's like, yo, why would I go and fight? What he said, I was reading this the other day. He goes, I didn't even want to fight at 154. I wanted to go right to 168. Why waste my time?
Exactly.
He's a smart businessman. He knows he's going to lose. He's going to get his back.
No, he does not. No, he does not. He does not. He would not even take the fight if he thought that.
No, listen.
Now I gotta jump in.
Jump in.
That was a shot at Christine.
This is the man that I know. One thing I know about Bud, even I don't care if it's ping pong, basketball.
Oh
yes.
yeah, he's competitive.
dive into nothing that he feels like he can't beat you at.
Oh, no.
So
Facts.
if that was, listen, if Bud feel like he could fight Usyk and beat him, he would have jumped. He'll jump up to a heavyweight.
Facts.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, no, he's different. I'm just like I said,
I think he's a very good fighter.
generation,
But
every generation is lucky to get, you know, saying that special fighter. Because looks again, they thought Ali was crazy when he said he could beat Liston. And look at and you've seen what he did not once but twice. But you go look at every decade of boxing. You always got those one or two fighters that always stand out because they did the impossible and they made it look easy. Again,
I agree.
I thought the fight, and again, that's my brother. I thought the fight between him and Errol was gonna be, you know what I'm saying, a tough back and forth. But despite what they got, may think what type of Errol special was in the ring. In my opinion, I know Errol. I thought it was gonna be a real
closer,
tough, closer than what it was. Again, Bud is just different. Y'all can say whatever y'all want about his.
Bud is very talented, but again,
his last fight or whatever. But I'm telling you, when you put that in his mindset, when you think he's gonna lose, he's gonna tell you differently.
That's right. And don't tell him he's losing. We see what happens when he gets told that.
Those are my fighters, but I'm telling you, if Bud says that he can beat, and he gets on every show, and he'll look you with a straight face, and he'll give you the breakdown. I'm telling you, listen to the breakdown how he puts it. I'm telling you, Norbs.
Listen, I understand. He could say, I definitely believe that, but
Norbs, after that fight, we're coming after you. Jamel and I are coming after you.
I might take a flight to Texas just to sit next to you.
Hey, we're going. Let's go.
If I gotta call you, you gotta come down here.
Bro, I'm gonna be with my and listen, I love Bud Crawford. I really love Bud Crawford, but I'm Team Canelo. Canelo's the greatest Puerto Rican fighter of all time.
He said Puerto Rican.
This is what the episode's about. We can agree to disagree.
Absolutely, and it's all love. It's all love. Exactly. This is how it should be.
Listen, I'll tell you this. The one thing I like about the Canelo and Bud fight is that they're both. It's kind of weird. Like they kind of got the same temperament in a sense. They're kind of laid back, very confident, very smart. And a lot of people don't give them credit how they carry themselves in this fight and how they carry themselves as people and how entertaining they are. Like I'm sitting here and I'm like, bro, like these guys are what boxers should be kind of gauging themselves to be, especially outside of it. And not to knock guys like other fighters that are overspending, but look what they're investing. They're doing certain things. These are guys, both of them are great role models for the boxing community in regards to even investing. Not going out there and doing retarded things. I love this match because I feel like it's probably the close. I mean, they're so similar. It's insane to me.
Like Red Corner Boxing said, best fight in boxing is Bud and Canelo. They're both daring to be great. It is. Yeah. It is. Can't deny it.
No, absolutely. And listen, regardless, after Canelo beats him, Bud's still going to be a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Canelo's going to be Canelo, and that's it. Bro. Listen. I'm gonna have my Canelo T-shirt on.
Listen. Bud wins. They both still be Hall of Famers. I'm just keep it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, listen.
100.
Like I said, one of my favorite fighters. I had nothing. You know what I'm saying? I can never say anything bad about it. But like I said, I believe in my guy. That's
absolutely
my opinion.
Those are my dream interviews right there. Canelo, number one, because I just want to talk to him. Bud and Andre Ward. Those are my three right there. I love what Andre Ward's doing.
Great guys. Great guys. All great guys. So, guys, before we get out of here, I want to thank y'all for spending your lunchtime with me.
I'm still cooking.
And something that you want to put out there in the universe. I'm going to start with you, Jamel, and then North.
Yeah, like I said, I love everybody tuning in. Paula, shout out to Paula. She's always great. Got much love and respect for her. I got love and respect for everybody that showed me love. That's just me.
Thanks. Thanks.
The three of us, we probably need to do this more often because all got different opinions, but it makes for great conversation. So again, man,
absolutely, I'm with it.
I know, like I said, I'm always open to sit down and talk whenever. But again, like for me, I'm trying to get back with the team. So hopefully that works out. And of course, y'all two will know first before anybody, and we'll talk about it again.
Man,
fabulous, listen, I love it.
We're gonna keep working, and Paula, there's no need to apologize. I deal with people all the time coming at me.
Paula's great. We love Paula.
Don't worry about it. Shout out to my guy Jamel, very humble. This is my sis. But I'm gonna keep it real. I feel like by the end of this year, we're gonna be the hottest shit on the internet. I'm just gonna say that. That's what I'm putting out there.
I like
And
it.
you know, for everybody that gets upset of our opinions,
It's
I don't know
okay.
what
We
to tell
still
you.
love you.
Wait,
We
wait,
won't block
Scott,
you.
matter of
We
fact,
won't
Scott,
block you. We still love you.
I need Scott Nicholson on the
That's my peoples. That's my homie now.
Scott.
Scott will not come
Holla
on
at
if
us,
I'm going to be
guys.
on. Scott blocked me. Scott
Well,
Scott,
blocked
I'm
me.
gonna be honest, Christine. You know, you were kind of rubbing it in a lot.
It was not. I
You know.
was celebrating my girls' win. That's
listen,
what I was doing.
here's the fence though. It's not rub you like again. She's been there. I've even been there, but
Thank you with Tiara's
Tiara
stuff.
had the mud.
Absolutely.
The stuff she had to go through to get it out the mud. I
Oh,
wasn't
absolutely.
I'm mad at Christine for it. But again, she still
Yes.
the olive branch was like, listen, we could talk about it and we can you
We're
know
gonna talk about it again.
on.
I'm gonna hit up Sky. I'm gonna be like, listen, Sky, listen, we're peoples now. We're friends. You know, you gotta unblock Christine.
His homegirl. He's gonna call his
That's my
homegirl.
peoples. That's my peoples. I love Sky.
Hey, I kept it classy. I always do. But I love to love y'all. Love the chat. Thank y'all for spending lunch with me, and we will get together soon. See ya.
All right, I'll take care.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all.